I thought it would be great to kind of touch on, stress and the diet and how your body responds to the diet that you're on when you're in stress. So the highly palatable foods are usually, like when you're under stress, are high calorie, high fat, and high sugar foods. It's your body's way of cueing you that it needs energy when it's preparing for fight or flight. The highly palatable foods, they also lead to the release of dopamine. But again, that the dopamine is that feel-good hormone. So just remember, when you're on that, I need the high sugar, I need the high fat foods, fried foods, French fries, or whatever it is, when your body is craving it, it's also the stress also messes with, do you remember the term that we talked about when we were talking about gut health? It's called ghrelin. And so if you have lack of sleep or your body's under stress, it actually kind of like suppresses that ghrelin hormone. And that's the hormone that tells you you're hungry, you're full, and how to eat healthy. It just tells you, like, eat whatever is going to make you feel good at this time. So like, for example, you go out and you're drinking all night long and you wake up in the morning and then all of a sudden you want like McDonald's French fries and burgers. That ghrelin has completely been suppressed. And so you usually don't make the right choices. And then it makes you feel even worse in the end. So it's like this vicious cycle, right? So now when you're eating all these foods that are, highly palatable, the high fat, high sugar, high carb, that's again leading to another contributor to obesity. So you have like a double whammy going on. Now you've got chronic stress, you have high cortisol levels, which leads to high blood sugar levels. And now you're eating foods that are high in calories and high in all this other stuff. And that's leading to obesity. And people are wondering why they're in this state of chronic stress. Then you feel stressed out because you can't lose weight. And then most of that obesity stress is really kind of around the belly region. So people that are under a lot of stress, they tend to now eat more, okay? Because they have more needs that they need to meet, and they have more calories that their body thinks that they need. And so you're stuck in this state, right? So it can be really stressful just being in that state. So now you want to try to shift your body into more of a less stressful state. So you really have to do a lot of self-care, mindfulness exercise, exercising, and then again, the body scanning. You guys can become really good at body scanning. And it's when you have like that mind-body connection. Again, we talk about mindfulness a lot. And a mindfulness, isn't a lot of situations, being mindful about how you're going into the meeting, how you're going into this meeting, or how I go into the meeting. Like, you know what I mean? You're mindful about how you want things to be. But when you're practicing the mindfulness exercises, when you're doing your body scanning, it'll help you understand where are you at right now, so you're doing your mindfulness scanning in a stressful situation. So if you're getting ready to take a big test, or you're getting ready to do something that's, a pretty big thing in your life, you just have to kind of go into that mindfulness, meditative breathing, body scanning. How do I feel right now? You might recognize butterflies in your stomach. A lot of people get, that how they call the stressful stomach, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you're under stress and then you have to go to the bathroom, or you have to throw up or something like that. That's when you're just like, okay, I got it out of my system and now I'm good to go. That's your body under stress. Now you recognize that, and you've got to be able to breathe through it and get out of that fight or flight. You got to go back into activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. So a lot of people feel that they are too rushed in life, just in general, to do this body scanning or how to eat less stressfully. But the whole of it, to get to the bottom of all this, is that good nutrition is an important stress management tool. So when your bodies are poorly fed, it takes an even greater toll on your health, right? So again, if you're taking in the proper nutrition all the time and you're doing the body scan, you're now able to take some of that chronic stress and get rid of it, push it to the side. So you have to eat regularly, and this keeps your glucose levels at its best, right? So you're keeping your blood sugar levels stable, and the more stable your blood sugar levels are, the less likely you are to just eat handfuls of food that make you feel worse. And then, then you put yourself into stress because you just did that and you feel terrible about yourself. Eating healthy fats is another way of getting in the nutrition that helps with the brain. So you got your brain and your body functioning now. So omega-3s, like in walnuts, flax seeds, fish oils, those are all associated with good brain function. And it can help out also when you're adding in the omega-3s that you need for good brain health. So for good brain health also will help you with anxiety and depression. So if you have anxiety, depression, stress, or whatever, eating healthy fats is going to be one of those things that you want to incorporate. As always, you have to eat your veggies. The fruits and vegetables, they contain a lot of the vitamins and minerals like copper, zinc, magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin E, and vitamin C. And of course, always I talk about the dark leafy greens. Those are especially good for you. The vitamins and minerals, they help to neutralize the harmful molecules that are produced when your body is under stress. And in addition, gives you all the fiber that you need to help with your gut health. And, when you're eating a lot more of the dark leafy greens and the high fiber foods, that makes you feel full and you're less likely again to reach for the unhealthy, high carb, high fat, high sugary foods. So that leads into another thing, the high fiber foods. So adding in fiber foods like oatmeal, nuts, beans, and then of course the fruits and vegetables, those are going to give you a better fullness feeling and a better alertness feeling. So now you can kind of just decide like what you perceive as stress. Is this really stress? Is this worth it to stress me out for a prolonged amount of time? Or can I breathe through this? And, my boss just got mad at me and I'm going to go breathe through this right now. You can kind of perceive your stress a little bit better. So eating the high fiber foods keeps you full. When you're hungry, I know this happens to me. You guys can let me know too if it happens to you. Like when you're hungry, I get agitated. I'm very Rob will tell you, like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just agitated with everything. I'm agitated with where we're sitting in the restaurant. I'm agitated with our waiter. It's like, just give me the food. So high fiber foods. Now, caffeine, we talk about caffeine, it can affect your sleep. Sometimes it can affect your mood. And sometimes a lot of people just skip breakfast and go straight to caffeine. But increased caffeine increases your blood pressure, which can make you a little bit more anxious. If you're more anxious and you have anxiety, you can tend to overthink things, and then you have your lack of sleep, and you see the cycle that's going on. I would suggest filling up your bag in the morning when you're going into the office, or if you're going on trips or whatever, to stock up on healthy snacks. So that way, you can stay full. You have your fiber now. Remember to drink a lot of water, because I know for me, if I have to go to a meeting at the kids' school or something, and I want to be clear on everything that I'm hearing and everything that I'm saying in situations where I feel like it's important, the first thing that I do is I will chug 20 ounces of water. Just that refreshing feeling that you get when you drink a lot of water, when you feel replenished, I guess is what you could say. That helps me a lot. Just being really full on water just kind of clears my mind. So just remember how you deal with stress, it's a choice. Now, a lot of people food is just one of them, but in addition to turning to, food is just really the most common, but a lot of people can turn to cigarettes, binge watching TV, coffee, and alcohol to manage stress. Those are things that are not going to help you in the long run. You doing the body mind scanning, exercising, getting quality sleep, and enjoying your free time and being around people, being around happy people. This brings you a lot of joy. So there's a lot of exercises that you can put into place. I'm going to give you a couple of examples that you guys can. Have you ever heard of a heart rate variability monitor? If you're a person that you feel like you're under a lot of chronic stress, you can wear a heart rate variability monitor. And it's Whoop is a company that makes one of them, and it just lets you know when your heart rate. So the heart rate variability is the amount of time that's in between your heart rates. That's your variability, your HRV. If you ever see HRV, that's what that is. So it kind of gives you that hey, you need to go do something meditate right now or breathe through it, because you've been sitting here in this state for a little bit too long. Deepak Chopra. So he has a lot of really good meditation exercises on iTunes. You can follow him on Instagram. I know he does a lot of Instagram lives, gives some really good, meditation examples, and just walking you through life, how to deal with perceived stress. Paul Epstein has a book called Happiness Through Meditation. You can get that on Amazon. That's another really good source. And then there's there's a couple different sources. I like to use the Calm app. You can do like 10 minutes in the morning, you can do 10 minutes in the afternoon. I like to do in the afternoon, especially if I'm going from working to having to shift roles really quickly into like getting the kids and being mom. And sometimes I just need that reset, I guess you could call it. So I'll just do that for like 10 minutes and just reset myself. And I feel like I just took like a 30-minute nap. It's amazing. Then there's wildmind.org. That's free. You can do the free meditation downloads, and they do monthly meditation courses. So if you ever wanted to do like breathing exercise courses, you could do that. And then there's a lot of other really great sources too. Like I said, there's Calm. They're really good for helping you, breathe through situations and, kind of de-stress a little bit. I talk a lot about gratitude journals. You can do that in the morning. People who show gratitude the first thing when they wake up and show gratitude the last thing that they do at the end of the day, everything in between usually makes people a much happier person. So I love the gratitude journal theory because it really only takes like 5 minutes out of your day. That's it. Just write 3 things that you're grateful for. And then when you go to bed at night, you can reflect on that and what happened during the day that you could be grateful for what happened, so really good stuff.